Why Hollywood really hates Donald Trump. Coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody and welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. Before we get started into our topic today of why Hollywood really hates Donald Trump, I just want to thank everybody for subscribing. If you haven't done so yet, please consider a subscription to Deceptions of the Ages News so you don't miss any of our great content, and go ahead and ring that bell. All right, now, why does Hollywood really hate Donald Trump? The first thing you need to understand about Hollywood sells things. Hollywood is a business. Hollywood is a multi-billion dollar business. Now, Hollywood's customers are about 300, well, not 300 million. There's 300 million people in the United States, but there are 7 billion people in the world. So Hollywood's market is much greater outside the United States. So it is in Hollywood's best interest to not be pro-American. You're probably wondering, why am I holding this book? Well, just like Hollywood, I too sell products. I sell products around the world. But I am not like Hollywood. I am very pro-American, I am very pro-Trump, and I'm very pro-American people. I ran for the Senate last summer, and I'll probably run for something in the next election. But I am also a businessman, so I know that I'm making a sacrifice when I come out in favor of my country and my president. But Hollywood cannot make that kind of choice. Hollywood has to come out against the president and against the country and against the American people. Now, why is that now when it's never been like that before? Well, it all has to do with immigration. You see, until I believe it was the late 90s, when they said we're going to let a million people in this country every year from any country. It doesn't matter, terrorists, racists, people who have no education, people who don't speak English, slavers, whatever. People who absolutely hate America, people we've been fighting around the world, they've let them all in, right? So if you are somebody who says, wait a minute, I don't want these people that are our enemies coming to our country. Well, those people have friends all around the world from the countries in which they come from, and those people watch movies. So there is no way Hollywood is ever going to come out and be pro-American until it becomes financially suitable for them to do that. Also add to the fact that China owns a lot of Hollywood now, and then you have a real anti-American business going on there. But it gets worse than that. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is we need to talk about Hollywood as a business, but we also need to talk about Hollywood as being full of people who are really just not scraping by, but it's very hard to keep on top in Hollywood. So you constantly have to be saying something to get yourself into social media. And now Trump being president, and thanks to the media who will amplify anything negative about the president, whether it's true or not, no matter how hateful it is, no matter how threatening it is or indecent it is, the media will amplify everything. Why? Because it's heard all around the world, and around the world where people are trying to get into the United States, they hate anybody who's going to try to keep them out. So they hate Donald Trump. All right, so that is Hollywood's take on it as far as the big picture. But what about individually? What about, and remember, we're talking about people who are coming to this country legally, but what about illegal immigrants? What does Hollywood stand on that? And why are they so pro illegal immigrant? Well, the first thing you have to remember is that they have staffs at their houses where they have to pay a lot of money. So, what do you want to do? Pay a person you have to put into FICA and Social Security and all that? Or wouldn't you rather get a cheap illegal alien to run your household? And if you were to go to these corporate heads in Hollywood, if you go to these movie stars' homes, if and basically any rich person, they're going to have a staff of illegal immigrants. And that is why they want illegal immigration, because they don't want to pay for the laws that they forced on people. But only rich people have to have this advantage. Working people, people who run businesses, they don't have that advantage. It's only the rich that are protected by California's liberal elite that have the advantage. But this is why they are so pro illegal immigration, because number one, they need the cheap labor to save on their millions of dollars for they have to spend to upkeep their properties. And the other thing is, again, is that you have millions or billions of these people in Latin America who watch movies. And so what are you going to do? Come out and be negative immigration or negative illegal immigration? Of course not, because that would be cutting your own financial throat. And anybody in Hollywood who did that would not be allowed to be in a movie. So it has nothing, I mean, these people have come here and not those people, I mean the people in the movie industry, they cannot possibly be pro-American anymore. So at some point, we need to really think about that. But let's talk about the people individually in Hollywood. All right, so you got your Robert De Niro's, you got your Rob Reiners, you got your Jim Carreys, you got all these people who they do nothing but talk trash. Well, when you're talking about Reiner and you're talking about Robert De Niro, and all these older people, I mean, these people are in their 70s or 80s. They are on meds big time. And so they have people telling them, they have agents telling them, trash Trump, keep your name in the paper so you can get a role. And it's no more than that. It's just a really cheap way of attacking somebody so that you can look better. So if you're looking at these people and you're watching them on their movies or whatever they do, and you're going, this person is the kind of person who would attack somebody they don't really even know, somebody who's trying to help our country for the sake of getting getting money. Well, isn't that like really, really scummy? But it gets actually worse than that. Now, the thing you have to understand about people in Hollywood, they don't have real good educations. The ones that have college educations, what did they do? They went to UCLA Film School. They don't know anything about political science. They don't know anything about international affairs, foreign languages, foreign governments. They don't know about law. They don't know about anything. All they know is they have got to keep that mouth running so that they can keep working. And it has nothing more to do than that, to do with anything than that. And if you look at just by individual of people in Hollywood, most of them have, if you're lucky, they have a high school diploma. So having a high school diploma and being in Hollywood and acting and pretending all of your life and hanging out with these people who have nothing to do with politics and nothing else. These people are the ones that are trashing Trump, but they have no education and they don't even know half the time what they're talking about. So why do they do it? Well, the fact of the matter is they do it because people listen to them, because you listen to them, because you buy their movies, because you search on Google and you're on Facebook and all that. They do it because they can do it and get away with it. So I'm not saying anything, but this is the reality of it. People in Hollywood hate Trump because, in the bottom line, it's all about money. In order to keep that money coming in from the worldwide marketplace, they have to keep trashing the person who is trying to set up limits, who's trying to make sure that we have a country that's not overrun. And that's not a very popular position in the world, where you have corrupt governments. They can't control their populations. They can't invent anything. They don't produce anything. They just want to come here, and I don't know what they want to come here for, but all these people do. And so Hollywood is playing this game. And it's a very dangerous game, and they're trying to incite the world against us and against the president we elected. So this is the way it is today, but I just want you guys to understand this is why Hollywood really doesn't like Trump. It has everything to do with money. It has everything to do with their marketplace around the world. And finally, it has everything to do with the fact that Hollywood is controlled, and I'm sorry, but put on the tinfoil hat for that. It's in the book and it's true, but Hollywood is controlled by Freemasons, and Freemasons do not have a very hopeful agenda for the United States. So lots of this money that goes into Hollywood ends up backing campaigns. And as an example, I ran for the Senate last summer in Washington State, and my opponent, Cantwell, the first place she went to get money was Hollywood. She came back with millions of dollars from Hollywood, right? So that's not even in our state. But people in our state, well, anyway. So what's the answer to all this? Well, I don't have an answer for it. I'm just here to educate you, and I'll probably run for office again. But the fact of the matter is that because of our media, because of the lack of decency in our country, all of this stuff that is going against the president, going against the American people, how they try to make us look so terrible, well, they do it because they can get away with it until you turn the TV off, until you turn off your Facebook and your Google and shut them down. It's just going to continue to happen. And that's just common sense. So this is Deceptions of the Ages News, and that is why Hollywood hates Donald Trump. We'll see you next time.